not my typical time and not my typical vehicle to be in, to be honest with you. And I'm about 2 hours early than I normally am, so this will be interesting. I have no idea who's on live right now. So, traveling all over Texas this week, y'all. And this weekend, but the weekend trip is fun trip. It's not business. And of course, I got to stop at Buc-ee's. We don't have a Buc-ee's in West Texas, which makes me upset, but you know, that's it is what it is. If someone can let me know if you can hear me, lady. I just blew through, spent the night in Temple. Sassy's got a thing in Temple, and I'm headed to Austin, and then I'll be going the other way. So I do like this area, by the way. I'm already talking to a realtor out here. I'm at that age where I'm not ready to retire, but my company may retire me way before I hit 60 or 65. So I'm looking for property. So I do like this area though, and there's a Buc-ee's. So, well, guys, I kept this whole last couple of weeks. Hey, KY, what's going on? Thank you. I kept this last couple of weeks all my little shorts in the mornings, food and storage and pricing related, because I think we can go off on rabbit trails on why we're where we are. I think we all know where we are, but I'm noticing a lot of new people on different platforms, and they're asking a lot of basic questions. Yeah, Lucky, be safe. Yeah, I know you Saturday mornings is you got a hitch, so yeah, no, take care of business. I appreciate you jumping in. Hey, Leslie, good morning. So I'm doing this early because I'm headed to Austin, and I'm taking the daughter and the boyfriend / fiance, and I'm going to acquaint them with long guns. He's an East Coast guy, and he wasn't able to really own firearms, so growing up. So now this is all new shit to him, and he's having a blast with it. So he already got his CHL. He's been here 2 years. He went, took the class, the whole 9 yards. He's like, this is great. Every state should have it. Which is kind of funny because, and he's not a fan of the politics on the Northeast cities. So yeah, but I'm trying to keep it more food focused this last couple of weeks, because I honestly, I mean, you just listen to everyone. I listened to I think it's Ice Age Farmer Christian, and he did a 20-minute video, because usually his videos can run long and I don't always have time to listen to the entirety. But I did listen to his most recent one. Is about a 20-minute summary, probably one of the best he's done thus far, and that concerned the shit out of me. I gotta I'll be honest with you. And he was very systemic in how he tied things together, and he presented articles and whatnot. But, you know, I think we're just seeing the beginning of that ripple effect from the shutdowns, and now they've shut Shanghai again. I don't know what that's about. We're going to continue to battle this nonsense. And now they're reporting there's this weird-ass outbreak of bird flu, which, of course, for those of you who are trying to homestead, a chicken is a very easy way to grow your own protein. I mean, you harvest them, etc. But, you know, that's a very inexpensive way. It doesn't take a lot of land. If you could put up with the bird poop and the stupidity of the animal called a chicken, you find it a very easy way to raise protein. Even if you don't eat the chickens, you just harvest the eggs. Relatively low maintenance, and now there's all sorts of concerns that this bird flu outbreak would cause issues with those of you who are homesteading your own chickens, your own ducks, your own waterfowl and poultry product. So honestly, we're gonna see that, and that's why I've been focused on a lot of the food prep, the food storage, trying to find those deals. It was actually interesting going from West Texas through multiple cities in one weekend, which is what we just did, to compare pricing. And I went and compared everything from the Glock 19 and 9mm boxes to the price of the chef. That's where I found the Chef Boyardee. Hey, Ashley. It may not be appropriate for some viewers. Oh, you know what it was? It said, do you want to restrict it to over 18? And I said yes, because every now and then we get fuckity-fuck and we start cursing. And then we're cursing in the chat. I'm cursing in the video. If I have a guest, they're cursing. And I'm like, I don't want kids in there. Not that the kids don't curse now, but hey, good morning, Joe. Kentucky, I missed your comment there because the phone's really tiny. Okay, I see you. Hey, good morning, Shorty. So yeah, I'm finding the price is pretty consistent. Hey, Arkman. Ark Wildman. I saw your last video. I think I left a comment. I'm trying to hit everyone's videos when I get breaks in the driving, and then I can leave comments to everyone. I'm actually driving Sassy's SUV, which is like a freaking space shuttle. It has, you know, screens and shit everywhere. Hey, Redleg. Loretta. But, whoa, that guy obviously has his own speed limit set. But, you know, for instance, the price of the firearms, price of the 9mm, price of the ground beef, within a buck is pretty consistent. Ironically, the price of gas is less in Central Texas than it is in West Texas, even though we're closer to a couple of refineries. But I guess you guys are closer to the big refineries on the coast. So that makes sense too. It's not like a shocking thing like, oh wow, you know, why your price is so low. It's logistics. They have to drive an extra 4 hours to drop certain products with us that they've only driven 2 or 3 to get here. But yeah, it's been quite a week. So Joe, I'm glad your dad's better. Yeah, I'll have to catch up. All your comments, for whatever reason, are teeny weeny on the screen. Like, they're smaller than normal. So I'm kind of sitting here going, man, who's writing hieroglyphs and shit? And it's teeny weeny. So, anyways, so today's project, I'm going to be taking a bunch of Gen Z kids, specifically my daughter and some of her circle, and we're going to acquaint them with the M4 platform. So I've got 2 going with me, a classic configured AR carry handle, basically what you'd have seen in Vietnam in the paratroopers. The other one is a shorty, an SBR, and these are super educated people, so it's kind of comical. I have to get very technical with them for them to understand, but they they enjoy it, right? This is new stuff to them. YouTube hates me, hates the material. And they dislike me. Well, you know what, that happens, Joe. Sometimes, you know, we get riled up and we say things that may hurt butts. And, you know, when we were growing up, or hell, not even 8 years ago, when, you know, you said some people didn't like, there was a debate, or they punched you, but it was pretty to the point. And now everyone freaks out. Hey, Leslie. And Ashley, I think Ashley snuck in there. There we go. I prefer iron. So, different platforms. We're going to acquaint the daughter and the fiance with Colonel Stoner's classic platform and different configurations. It sounds like the kids are buying property, which is great. My daughter's excited because they should have enough acreage for her to have some poultry. And so, and I'm happy for that. You know, I keep moving with my company. They're in a position they can work remotely almost anywhere. and they got some property. They're working on the contract and the purchase. But you guys know my daughter's a vet tech. Okay, Joe. Yeah, Joe, if you have to bail and come back, that's fine, man. I appreciate you hopping in. Joe's got his hands full on Saturday mornings. So if you get a chance, listen to Ice Age Farmer. You know, I think all the YouTubers, all the content creators were trying to find that fine line between keeping everyone informed of what's generally not great news and being fear pornish. And hey, George Washington, good morning. But there's reason to be concerned, right? When the president, remember when we were all talking about the Rona, and we're like, the Rona sucks, it's gonna do something bad, and everyone's like, no, you're all fear porn. And then the president, which was Trump at the time, he started talking about it, and then bam, Rona. And then Dr. Falsey and all the other bullshit. But anyway, I digress. When it gets to the point where the president's advisors are telling him you need to mention it, it's because his advisors, his analysts, have come to the conclusion that it's a real problem, and if you don't answer it and it bushwhacks the American people, they're going to accuse you of falling asleep at the wheel. This is a threat to any president, is to be perceived as not knowing what the fuck's going on. And so the fact that President Biden made a specific reference to having a famine and having food shortages, and there may be suffering as we have never seen, it's because the think tank around him is like, Mr. President, you need to freaking mention this to the people, because if it happens and you didn't mention it, that's not going to be received very well. So I expect, and this is, you know, whether I like potato or not is besides the point. The fact that his people made it a point of having him say it means that they see it as a real issue. And man, that's a big ass oversized trailer going through here. So there are two tractor trailers bringing what basically are two halves of a double wide, and there's a motorcycle just bebopping between them. And I guess he's comfortable there because he's like, nobody's going to get between those trucks and nobody's going to hit the motorcycle. So he's just cruising along in a road bike. Hold on a second here. Let me get out of this guy's way. So I think it'll be real. I think we will see those issues coming forward. All we can do is, you know, make ready, store the food we can, buy what we can. Somebody asked me I was doing a TikTok live, which is absolutely bizarre, by the way. TikTok live streams are very weird because it's just the chat is a bunch of gibberish, and people just come in and out. It's absolutely ADD. And if someone's being a troll, I don't know, or I haven't figured out how to kick them. But I had somebody ask me, well, what are you getting ready for? Like, what are you preparing for? And I said, well, buddy, what do you mean, what are we preparing for? Have you been asleep the last 3 years? And so I started listing incidents, starting Hurricane Harvey, the tax day floods, the tornadoes in Kentucky, the people who got stuck on I-95 in the highway. And I guess I gave him a rational answer because the person stopped asking me what we were preparing for. I actually left the chat, and I'm like, well, you're an idiot. It blows my mind that people still don't see this. They still don't get it. And even if they're not into I'm going to prep food, for Christ's sakes, have an emergency bag in your car. I mean, what are they thinking? I don't get it. I don't understand the rationale of these folks. And those are the ones I worry about. The ones who troll on the internet and they act horrendously to people because they're behind a computer screen or whatever, phone screen, and they can't. Those are going to be the same people who, even though they're not listening to us and they're spending their money getting stoned or drunk or whatever it is they're doing, or they're just buying bullshit things, will be the first ones to say it's not fair that you have food, you have first aid, you have whatever, and I don't. Even though they made the conscious choice not to be ready for emergencies. And those are the ones we'll see in the streets. The ones who feel they are entitled, the ones that have decided they're a victim without justification of being a victim. And we're starting to see it with the gas thefts here in Texas. I don't know, is anybody else having gas theft? Because they've gotten creative, and you'd think Texas of all places wouldn't have that, but we do. Yeah, Leslie, that's spot on. We have to be quietly cautious as to what we do and how we do it. And so apparently one guy has no speed limit and the other one decided his speed limit is 20 under. These are the guys that cause wrecks, by the way. They do 20 under in the middle lane. If your vehicle won't go fast, go to the right and let everyone else go by. That stupids. And again, back to my point. But Leslie, to Leslie's point, yes, be inconspicuous. Don't be super obvious. It's not uncommon coming out of a Sam's or a Costco. People will have bulk food, right? They'll have cases of water. They have, big bags of rice. Nobody really thinks twice about it because it's a bulk store. That's what you do. That's what you buy there. There are no small amounts. You want small amounts, go to CVS and then pay too much. But that's going to be important. Armed robberies at gas stations. Wow. Banks, restaurants are happening almost daily. Yeah, and Shorty's you're on the West Coast, if I remember. Yeah, they pass on the, I love when they pass on they pass on the shoulder instead of using the proper lane. I love when they do something illegal and the cop immediately gets them in front of me, and it's a whole celebration in the car. Okay, are you changing lanes, buddy? Or did you forget your... You have no clue what you're doing. He's like arguing with his wife. Okay. Now that's scary. A couple arguing in the front seat of a car with a trailer. That's how you get an accident, by the way. So I'm going to say, and I may not be right, you're going to see an increase in thievery as we go forward. Until everything levels off, you're going to see, I've got to where, yeah, that's probably not a bad idea, Kentucky. I suspect we're going to see more of the crime, more of the thievery. They're going to look for soft targets. Most criminals are not going to want to have a fight. Now, there are some psychotics who will go out there and try and start fights. Those you can't predict, and that's always a wild card. Stupidity on the roads anymore. Yeah, it's... And I know I'm doing a live stream, so I'm kind of multitasking. So I'm staying off on the right, going around as I need to. And if I see people are coming up on me, I'll move over, get out of the way. And I'm with traffic, so I'm not slowing them down at all. But you got some, speed racers who try to let them go. By the way, folks, just a word of advice on the roads. If you're trying to make an exit and you miss it, and tell kids this, tell everyone around you this, don't go across 3 freaking lanes to get out. You're going to kill yourself or other people. If you miss your exit, miss your fucking exit. Keep going, get the next exit, turn around and take your embarrassment, and don't kill yourself. I can't tell you the number of times on a highway people are going 70, 80 miles an hour, and some yutz in the left lane suddenly realizes that's their exit and goes across 3 lanes. And I love it. They go across 3 lanes with kids loose in the back. Best and decided to retail therapy. Oh, that was a good one. Hold on. And with all going on, You know what? That's not necessarily a bad thing. I guess you got to find a balance without making yourself crazy. I'm doing the mail in the chat. Good for you, Kentucky. And I appreciate you guys jumping in here, everybody. No offense to any of my northern friends. Yeah, and that's the kind of the stuff Shorty's talking about is the stuff we're going to start seeing. If companies, especially the smaller ones that are getting squeezed between the corporations and the government and the supply chain, they're getting outbid on the supply chain. Think about it, right? We've been talking about supply chain forever. As the supply chain gets squeezed, a larger company has the resources to say, okay, I'm going to assign Pete, you as the engineer, we're going to get an accounting person, a marketing person, a logistics person. You guys and girls figure out how to get more product, get a substitute, right? And we're going to, a corporation or a company will turn, they'll pivot to redirect their efforts. A family-owned business doesn't have that kind of resource, right? They're dealing with checking out their customers, and they're the ones that are going to get pinched. Those are also the ones that provide a lot of parents of school-aged kids employment, right? Because you can come in at 9, you can leave at 3, pick up the kids, drop them off. And we did that. Sassy did that for a few years until she got her own boutique down in Houston, because it allowed us some flexibility. And they're going to hurt. Shutting down the schools at this point would be an absolute stupidity. That's just going to crater everything. So I don't know what certain states are thinking. But you're going to continue as people start getting squeezed. They're going to get laid off. You're going to start seeing the crime, and they're going to target easy, soft targets, right? They're not going to go to the lady who looks like she has a switchblade in her purse, right? Because they don't want to get cut. What they will want to do is instead target the mom or the dad who's got 3 kids, one screaming, one with a wet diaper, and the other one's jumping up and down in the bed of the pickup truck in the parking lot. That's the person. They're not looking because they've got a zoo in front of them that they'll take your purse. There was a video on YouTube and on the news, and I can't remember where I saw it first, of a grandma walking into her house, and a car pulled up, and a dude got out and ran at her, and she immediately registered what was happening, and she threw the purse at the first guy, like, here, have it, but in her panic, she hit him square in the face, and he fell down, which was actually kind of funny. But then they dragged her around the yard trying to get whatever from her pockets, and then they left. And a neighbor did come with a baseball bat, but by then they were gone. Like, by the time the neighbor recognized what was happening and made their way there, it was too late. The criminals had gone. I applaud that the neighbors stood up, but it's going to come to that. It's going to come to you guys keeping an eye on your neighbors. Make friends with the retirees. You know, if there's a family taking care of elderly or a family taking care of kids, and somebody's in the house all the time, get to know them, right? I got a retired guy. He's a widower, sadly. He lost his wife just before we moved to the area. He lives straight across the street, and he does consulting work. He's a professional guy, so he keeps himself busy doing part-time stuff. He parks in front, I park in front. Each of us knows when the other one is home because the trucks are there. I got a stay-at-home mom 2 doors down. She's got munchkins. I know when she goes to check the mail because I see her, the munchkins, and the dog. And I watch and make sure, if I'm working from home, I make sure that, thank you, Leslie, I make sure that I'm watching her and her kids. If I see the work vehicles going around the block once too often, because we don't have construction on our block, I'm going to be like, that's sus, and I don't like you. And I'm going to go outside and find a reason to fuck with my truck, just so that they see there's a dude there. Ladies, you can even help each other. I mean, if you're in the parking lot and you see someone who looks like they're about to have a bad time, my daughter has done this, where she's walked up, hey, bug dude, walked up to a girl who had a guy hassling her and goes, "Hey, Jennifer." She had no idea what the girl's name was. Just called her, come up with a name. Jennifer sounded good. "Hey, Jennifer, how are you? It's so good. Is this a friend of yours?" And then, of course, the girl was like, no. And she's like, "Well, you need to leave. Or do we need to call the police?" And now there are two women, and one's getting aggressive, and it threw the guy off, and he was like, no. And then she's like, "I could take a picture of you." And then all of a sudden he panicked and he ran away. And needless to say, now she had a new friend. But stuff like that, walking, if you see someone loading cars, and I think I mentioned it in another video, there was a creeper going around hassling women loading cars, and there was a mom with kids, and she's trying to stuff the kids in the van. I hung out. I played with the tailgate on my truck. I moved my bags around. I waited an extra 5 minutes. It didn't cost me any real pain or time. But I was sure that that young mom and her munchkins were not going to... And the guy came back around. He saw her. I saw him look at her from across the parking lot. He made the circle around the lanes. He went down one aisle and came back another. But then I was still there, and now I was making things uninteresting, right? It was not attractive that I was still there because I'm ugly, and maybe he thought I would pull him out of his window. Somebody tried to hassle me. They got another thing coming, got a mouth like a sailor. Okay, Sassy, mouth like a sailor. Y'all would love her. I'm trying to convince her to come on a live with me. She had a vendor of some type come up and bug her in a gas station. And he was like, "Ma'am, would you like?" And she goes, "You need to go away." "No, ma'am, you don't." And then she did cheerleader voice, yell from the diaphragm kind of thing, and that booming, "You need to get away now," and scared the shit out of this poor guy. He shouldn't have done that. It was a young guy who's trying to sell some window cleaner bullshit. He shouldn't have done that. Okay, you be respectful. If they tell you no, you walk the hell away. You don't get up on people because they'll react badly. But when she did that, everybody in the gas station suddenly stopped to look at the little girl with the booming voice and the weird guy, and then he got embarrassed. He said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I was just," and he went back to his tent. Now, he learned a lesson, good for him. But things like that, we're gonna see that stupid shit, that thievery. They're gonna look for easy targets. Be smart. Don't leave your purse / wallet / car keys in your vehicle. Leslie, I look sweet and innocent. Yeah, that's how Sassy scares people, because she's this little thing. If she's 5'2" with her boots on, I'd be impressed. And all of a sudden, when the voice, she'll yell, and she'd yell at one of the kids, and the dogs would run away, like in the other side of the house. They had nothing to do. They were in another room, and all their little ears would go, "Oh no, she's angry," Dogs, bring your dog with you. A lot of like Lowe's, the corgi is more like a potato, but you can take your dog with you to Lowe's. As long as your dog's well behaved. If he starts growling at people, that's not cool. But I promise you, you won't get guys and girls or people harassing you if you got a German Shepherd walking with you, right? They'll be like, dog, right? Dogs have teeth. And yes, they all bite. They may not be prone to biting, but they are capable of biting. So people know this. But we're going to keep seeing that, guys. We're going to keep seeing this stupid shit going forward. So be smart. And like somebody said earlier, definitely a little retail therapy isn't bad. Actually, allegedly, there's a gun show somewhere in Austin. And I don't think any of the young folks I'm going to go shooting with have seen a real gun show in Texas. A lot of them have moved in. So a lot of people are freaked out that, people from California or New York or wherever are moving to Texas. Most of them are coming here because they don't like that. So I think we have a lot more like-minded people moving to Texas than we think we do. But I've made it my personal goal to find every blue state kid I can and teach them about things like farming in your backyard, Second Amendment, you must prep. And yes, guns are not the devil so long as you're not stupid. And it's been working. I have a lot of people reaching out to me now going, hey, is this a good price for this? Hey, where do I get the classes? So that's become one of my little personal, I guess my little personal missions is to find people who are not familiar with the way things could be and educate them so they don't vote for the dumb shit they just left. Wait, Kentucky just put a good one and I missed it. Everyone in my clan packed something somewhere. Yeah. And yeah, same. I was super proud of Sassy when we unpacked at the hotel yesterday night. She has her little like carry pouch. Now came the wallet and the keys and the phone. You know, the usual, the lipstick or lip liner, whatever y'all put in your lips. And out came the little Sig, her bougie Sig. Actually, she has the bougie Kimber this time, not the bougie Sig. The Sig's at home. She brought her bougie Kimber, and in its little tactical holster, and she has the little loop so she can attach it to her pants. And she was all proud of herself, man. She had all her little EDC laid out in on her side of the hotel bed, and I was like, good for you. Now she gets it. Now she remembered, because sometimes we'll go halfway to somewhere, and I'll be like, hey, where's your pistol? She's like, in the nightstand. I'm like, that's not where, that does you no good there, girl. So I was happy. I was happy. So she brought her pistola. She's been toting it around. So, and I know she'll use it. I've seen her fire at people. So yeah, I know she'll pull the trigger. That she won't hesitate to do. It may be out of pure fear and panic, but she will throw some downrange. So, but folks, came back in lip liner and bougie pistols. Lucky your timing was perfect. Hey, Caribbean House, buenos dias, how are you? Yeah, guys, there's a lot of bad news. There's also a lot of interesting news that could be good news. So try to take it with a filter, because you can go down this depression toilet bowl, as somebody pointed out earlier. You go down a depression toilet bowl, and that sucks, right? It's just awful. Yeah, no, Lucky, I was referring to Sassy. We got to the hotel, and I was putting my stuff on my side, because they have the nightstands on either side of the bed. And she took out her phone, her lip liner, and whatever, and then she had the bougie Sig. That one was urban camouflage Sig. The really bougie one is, no, I'm sorry, the Kimber's the urban camouflage. That's what she has today. The really bougie one is the Sig. It's a Louis Vuitton Sig. I kid you not. Actually, Lucky, I'll email you a picture. It's literally a Louis Vuitton Sig. Hey, Red, what's going on? So, by the way, Red has some great woodwork. It just reminded me when I saw him. I went to a store here, and they had this beautiful woodwork, and I looked at it, and it was like a come and get it flag done in wood. And I was like, wow, that's really nice. And then in the back of my mind, I said, I bet Red could make one of those. So, Red, have you gone on Etsy or anything? Are you selling your stuff, or are you still just doing it for fun? Because he does some really great artwork, guys, with woodworking and stuff. But, yeah, folks, just keep doing what you're doing. But I am seeing an uptick in the crime, which should not be a surprise, because things are getting expensive. They're stealing gas. They're for fun and locally. Okay, hey, Hudson, woo! People of New Yorkistan, and well, and you know what? Now it's to the point, since they want to ban firearms and ban self-defense because we will take care of you, and now they're doing a shit job of protecting you. So all they've done is now convince good people, in many cases, are now breaking the law, because it's like, well, I could go to a court, or I can lose someone I love. Well, yeah, exactly. Judge by 12. Oh yes, Red, it's beautiful. Red, we blew through Killeen and Temple, and I'm actually headed to Austin. So I'm a little bit north of where you are, but man, it's just, the weather is gorgeous out here. The only reason I'm not wearing sunglasses is because I can't see the chat, because it makes it really dark. But yeah, guys, just take everything with a grain of salt and try to filter out what will help you versus what won't help you. Because it's very easy. You can go down that. Actually, a combination is business for sassy, and I'm the one screwing off this time, which is kind of nice. So yeah, I went to the Railroad Museum in Temple. I'm going shooting, doing a little ad hoc tactical shoot in Austin, and I got a suitcase with 2 rifles in. I got an operator's bag, you know, the big square one, and I got all my kit in there, and then my backpack with my MacBook, so I can go play with videos or go annoy people later. But yeah, it was a perfect weekend for this. It was just really, really pretty. And it's nice because there's more variety in restaurants out here. But yeah, guys, we're going to see that, and you're going to see those crime reports. They're always going to look for the softer target. So look, it's going to sound funny, look ugly, look unappealing, right? A skunk doesn't look very scary until, you know, he squirts you, and then you smell ugly for a month. Be unappealing and be ready to do something nasty to someone. And I don't necessarily mean, you know, go kill them, but pepper spray them. One person actually I spoke to at Sassy's little convention, because I didn't realize, so I met some of my own followers at her convention. I walked in there helping her set up, and they went up and they're like, oh my God. And so then I got surrounded by people asking me about preparedness and shit, which was actually cool. I have that happen every blue moon. I didn't have a group of them before. So Mother Nature's been off the rails here. Well, Leslie, we have no rain in West Texas. Like when, who was it? Was it Alaska Prepper was saying his friend in Texas, they haven't had rain. It's the western half of Texas. And actually it looks unusually brown in going through Killeen, Temple, through central Texas. This is usually lush this time of year, and it's not as green as I'm used to. But there is a lot of construction, so that may be throwing off my perception. But, you know, also training, guys, if you're carrying whatever it is, pepper spray, ninja sword, sidearm, train. Clear your weapon, train safely. Don't cut yourself or shoot a hole in the wall. But train, learn how to draw your weapon. Learn how to draw moving forward, learn how to draw moving in reverse. And Hudson's getting all the rain. Which is good, because you guys got what, like apples and all sorts of different fruit up there. So I did see a report as far as, yeah, no kidding, Lucky. Last time I was here, I was like, I swear we already had construction here. I had to go around it last time. I did see a report from the feds and from an agricultural commission in another state, as well as Texas. They said the American wheat harvest was not as bad as they thought. It was a little bit down, but not catastrophic, which is good. The problem is the global market is shit because of the whole thing in Ukraine. So even if we keep taken care of in North America, the US, Canada, Mexico, I heard Mexico had decent harvests of their product as well. So we lucked out, even though we're in a drought. We kind of played our games right. And they are transitioning. So they've actually paid farmers to switch because they knew it would cost them. Some farmers are getting a little bit of subsidy to switch crops to fill gaps, which is a good thing. Unfortunately, it takes time. So the Fed should have done this 6 months ago. Hey, Hillbilly, what's going on? And they didn't. So now we're a little behind the curve, but the harvest wasn't terrible domestically. Internationally, it was not good. And that's where we're going to have problems, because people will starve in the third world countries, and then they're going to migrate, and that's going to cause a whole slew of other issues. And I'm not even going to get into Bill Gates buying farmland and shit, because that just agitates the crap out of me. So, but yeah, it's, we're going to look, we're going to see the shortages. We're going to definitely see the prices go up a little more before end of the year, if not a lot more. So like I've said before, eat tomorrow on today's pricing, because I'm eating today on stuff I bought a year ago, which the pricing was not bad. It was more availability during the Rona. Keep doing that. All we can do is stay ahead of the curve. If you can grow, my subdivision limits what I can do. I'm trying to figure out, I'm talking to the HOA to find a way to grow and not get in trouble. One of my neighbors did a movable upright garden. Like, it's technically on wheels, so it's technically not in the ground. And that one worked. That one was, they didn't even have to report it, because technically it's not landscaping, it's a mobile thing. So I got to talk to that person and see what they've done. Someone else is doing hydroponic in their garage, but now it took up the garage, so now you can't park a car there. So, you know, you have to trade-offs. But if you can grow your own, even if you just grow potatoes or just grow whatever, jalapenos, anything you can make yourself or source yourself takes you out of the supply chain. And so you're not exposed to the supply chain for those products, whatever they may be. So if you know how to make your own clothing, some people still do that. Or if you know how to repair clothing, well, you have to go to the store less, because you can properly repair and fit clothing. Look for those ways to, and this is what businesses are doing. Companies right now are trying to reduce their exposure in supply chain. So in business, you have your horizontal and you have your vertical component, right? What I'm talking about is a vertical type of integration. So, you know, somebody plants the seed, somebody harvests it, somebody then processes it, then it packages it, goes to the store, and you buy it, right? So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's this. You want to try and integrate yourself to where you control more of that whole product life cycle, from the creation to the consumption, and then the creation of new product. So if you can grow those chickens, now chicken and eggs are no longer in your supply chain. If you can grow any kind of crop, that's no longer in your supply chain. So who's honking? Oh, somebody was sleeping at the wheel is what it was. Like, there's somebody honking and I'm all by myself here. I'm like, hello. Do what you can. And again, I keep saying this, watch what the companies are doing, okay? Because they've got think tanks dedicated to this shit. And so when I see a company like, you know, an Exxon or some of these big oil and gas companies are switching to using the natural gas that's normally considered a byproduct of oil production, they're filtering it and using it to power their own power plants. And I just saw one company has converted all their field shop trucks to LNG, liquefied natural gas. What they're doing is they're producing oil, right? Oil comes up with gas in a lot of these fields. They're separating them. The oil goes to market. They're taking the gas, compressoring it, making it into liquid natural gas, making it into LNG, and then using their own LNG on their own field trucks, and they've taken themselves out of the diesel market. They're selling the diesel to everyone else, but their own fleet has been removed. That was smart. Stuff like that takes you out of that particular part of the supply chain. So again, if you can horizontally set yourself up to where you're more involved from creation to consumption of a product, it's going to make a difference. You remove that vulnerability from your family and put it to the side. And by the way, I'm going in a remote area now, so there's a good possibility you may lose me, so I'll apologize in advance. But yeah, definitely. And this guy's going 20 miles under the speed limit on a country road. Nobody in front of him. Bright sunny day, as Red October has already pointed out. And are you lost? Okay, this guy's killing me. Now he's got a parade behind us. He must be quite proud of himself. But do those things. Pay attention to the news. I'm trying to watch the stock markets. Like Kroger, their stock shot up, and I missed it 2 months ago. I should have immediately thought food supply issues, Kroger, and I didn't, and that was my bad. And there's so many things going on in our lives that we miss stuff like that. And that's why I love YouTube. That's why I like chatting with you guys, because you know, you leave the chat on and you have all these folks from all over the country. We're all trading ideas in the chat, and that makes a huge difference for everybody, because it gives you visibility of things you wouldn't see otherwise. But guys, go to those farmers markets. Keep going to the small businesses. Each of them has their own little supply chain, and you can get around those larger issues by going there. You may pay a little more. I think you're going to pay more no matter where you go. But and also watch for that street crime. You're gonna see the increase of stupid. Out in West Texas, there's been at least 2 beatings because, you know, one of these big oil field guys or these farm boys comes out of their house, and there's some schmuck in a hoodie trying to be Antifa-ish with their little mask in his pickup truck. And, you know, you go and break into the truck of a young man or even a young woman who throws bales of hay for work. Yeah, they're going to kick your ass, right? So then the Antifa or whatever, the thief gets his ass kicked, or they run away and now they're chasing him down the street. There have been several beatdowns. I'm surprised no one's shot yet. It sounds like most people are trying not to draw blood, but a little bit of an ass kicking as a correction, and then they'll call the police and basically sit on the assailant. So, but you're going to keep seeing that. You're going to keep seeing that. Those thieveries. So again, basic 101 street smarts. Throw you like a bale of hay. Buddy, I've seen some of these roughnecks that work on the drilling rigs who grew up on a farm. Good Lord, their biceps are the size of my thighs, and I'm not a little guy, but bless it. You know, like Jason would be average, like Angry Prepper. He would be average with some of these boys. Like Jason would get along well out here because they're all cursing at each other anyway. But you know, these are big dudes. Yeah, why would you be in his pickup truck? He's just going to grab you and he's going to throw you into his rose bush, and then you're going to get all thorned up in there, and you'll be like, his dog will bite you, and then they'll drag you around just for good measure, and then they'll basically just sit on you until the cops show up. You know, you get a 250-pound roughneck off a drilling rig. Yeah, he's going to kick you. Don't mess with his truck, man. Hell, his wife would come out beat you down with a cowgirl boot. I mean, no, don't. It's just bad. But they don't learn. That's why they're stealing, and that's why they get their ass kicked. But watch for that thievery. Ladies, they've been targeting females a lot. I'm not a fan of that, so watch yourself, but also watch the other women in the parking lot, especially if they have kids, because that's a favorite target. They're going after the old ladies, and they're going after the moms with kids. And they're specifically going after people who aren't paying attention. If it's an older woman who is very focused, they're not touching them, because they know desperation is setting in. You're absolutely right, Hudson. And by the way, somebody had a great tip on a TikTok chat. Was you know those little personal alarms that they're super loud? She carries 3 of them. There's one in her purse, one in her pocket, and one, I don't know where the hell she put the other one, in her belt or something. And she's had people hassle her, and she sets off the one in the purse, then sets off another one and throws it, right? So now you're throwing stuff, which totally screws up a thief, right? Because the guy wants your purse, and now you're throwing shit all over the place. And it's now it's really loud. Now there are multiple 120 decibel sounds going off all at once. And she just threw one under the car next to you. So she said she's actually had a friend do that, and then she had to do it, which was somebody approached her and she said, get away. And she realized, oh, I'm in trouble. She started setting them off and throwing them around. and you know, obviously that's loud as shit in the parking garage. So now everyone's looking at you. I just thought that was a really, really smart and very inexpensive way, especially if you can't carry certain defensive products, to create a very quick commotion. That's the other thing they don't want. They don't want resistance. They don't want to have to work, and they don't want a commotion, because a commotion means police. It means people coming to investigate. They don't want that. They want to grab and go. And they don't want to grab and have a fist fight, or grab and, you know, a dog gets involved. They don't want that. And bring your dog. Got to go to the gas station? Bring your dog. My daughter had a rescued pit bull that was a ranch dog, and he went with her everywhere. And, you know, people would hassle her at the gas station. She'd roll the windows down. Holy moly, this guy almost hit me. He was not paying attention. Wow, you could see him in my rear window. Like, homeboy. All I see in my rear view is his bumper. You almost watched me have a car wreck because of an idiot. We're all at a light, and he was hauling ass down the hill like an idiot. So, now, by the way, when I stop at lights, I leave at least half a car length in front of me for two reasons. One, I get hit in the ass by an idiot. I don't then go and hit the poor guy in front of me. Two, and I learned this working when we had to do tactical vehicle training at a company before we went overseas, in case we had to drive ourselves. Two, you leave that half car length in front of you. In the event, like in Mexico happens a lot, they try to carjack you, you've got maneuvering room. You know, a guy gets in front of you with a gun, run him the fuck over. He's going to shoot you anyway. Let him shoot you with two broken legs. And I'm talking about these carjackers specifically. Leave yourself some room. Wow, I'm really shocked, because that guy was hauling ass. You saw my eyes go up there. He was moving down that hill, and I'm like, dude, there's a line of cars. Even if I go to the grass, you're going to knock me into the ditch, and then you're going to kill the lady in front of us. It's amazing the level of stupid. People need to drive cautiously. But, yeah, definitely, Red. Leave yourself some room. It's also a safety thing, right? If you're up on the guy in front of you and you're on a hill and he's in a standard and he rolls back. God, Red, tell me about it. I thought Houston was bad. Houston, they just drive like Speed Racer. Like, they think it's the Autobahn. But they actually stay in their lanes for the most part, and they use signals. They're just using it at 90 miles an hour. But in West Texas, they forget the yields, and they come hauling ass. But Austin, y'all Austin drivers need to, like, read the book again or something. Good Lord. And that was a bore in a 250 work truck. So it's not his truck, right? So what does he care? But he gets fired for getting in a wreck. He goes somewhere else. Yeah, especially downtown. That's assuming the homeless guys don't come up to you and start grabbing your window and shit. They never do that to me. I had one guy was like with the windshield washer thing and a bucket of dirty water. I'm like, no, don't do that, homie. Don't. And I went, no, and he smacked my pickup truck. And I looked at him, and I was having a day, y'all. And I put the car in park, and I guess he heard it go in park. And I'm like, really, man? So I start undoing my seatbelt, and all of a sudden he ran away. I was like, man, by the way, hitting your truck is technically attacking the vehicle, depending on which county you're in. And I guess he didn't want to find out if I was going to be right or wrong. So, but yeah, you're going to have that, guys. You're going to see, and don't open your windows to the solicitors. I know you may want to help them out. You'd be better off giving them food or donating to the local food warehouse, whatever. Don't open your windows, because if you open enough to hand out money, they may have enough room to reach in and grab you, grab your keys, grab your kid. Don't do it. Keep your windows closed. People are going to start acting really hinky the next 6 months. And what it's going to do is people like us, that's exactly right, Red. And it's not that they're evil. A lot of them do need help. Yeah, if you're going to crack your windows, you can pass a buck through there. And again, and this is especially, you got a purse. Oh, and by the way, when you're filling up gas, lock your car, even though you're right next to it. Because we had this happen in Houston a lot, where somebody be filling up on, say, the left side of their vehicle, and another car from the right would pull into the pump. A guy would get out of the passenger door, open, steal your computer bag, a purse, a briefcase, whatever, and then they drive away. And by the time you see it, you come around, they're gone. So lock your vehicle. Yeah, on the exactly, Red, on the passenger side. It almost happened to me in San Antonio. That almost ended badly for the guy because I told him to fuck off, and he balled up on me, and it escalated very quickly, and that's smart. But also, you know, anywhere. It's happening in Houston. It's happening in other cities. Speed limits are a suggestion in Kentucky. I believe it. Come on, buddy. We have to be in the same lane, so you may as well go. There you go. I love when people put a signal, but then they get confused as to why they have a signal on. And so they do this left, right, and I don't know where the hell they're going. So since they don't pick a lane, I pick a lane, and then they get angry at me because I made a decision. Silly. Watch that street crime, guys. Watch the thievery. Don't leave anything of value in your vehicle at night, even if it's in the front of your house, it's in your garage. And actually, speaking of the garage, lock the door. If you have an attached garage, lock the door between your garage and your main house. Because we had at least one case in Lubbock. The guy was able to get in with a coat hanger, reached in between the gaps of the garage door, got a hold of the emergency handle. You know, when the power goes out, you can pull the handle and roll up the door manually. Pull the handle, open the garage door, and started rummaging around, and then opened the door to the house. But then the alarm went off and he freaked and ran. Because again, he didn't want trouble. He wanted stuff. But had he been a violent individual, that family would have now had a violent guy inside the house. You want to protect that perimeter as much as you can, because you will see that thievery. If they ransack my garage, don't be anywhere you don't have any business. Yeah, if you're not there for tourism and you're not there for business, and tourism's, I guess, a business, don't go there. Don't just be hanging out in shady people. My uncle was a doctor in Conroe, and my aunt was a nurse, and he told me, and he's from the Russian-German side of my family. That's a whole nother story. Anyway, he had no filter. He was a Navy guy to boot. And he said, he looked at me one day and said, we were talking about street crime, and he said, and he was a prepper, I just didn't realize it at the time. He had a greenhouse, his own welding equipment, World War II vintage firearms, like M1 Garands, and I'm like, why do you have your own little farm back here? Cold War soldier. Didn't think about it. Anyway, now I realize all the things he taught me. What was that, Leslie? I missed you there. Some of the idiots in Tennessee like to leave loaded. Oh, Lord. Yeah, and we do have a lot of that in Texas. People forget their guns, even though it gets preached a lot. I had a coworker lost a Ruger 40 cal under a seat and a 12 gauge he had in a bag under the back seat because he had just gone clay shooting in his front. And he called it, and he admitted, he said he came to work, he said, I fucked up, I was tired after the clay shoot. I said, screw it, I'll leave it here. I didn't lock the door. I just went inside. I said, oh, I'll come out in 5 minutes. He got tired, he went to bed, unlocked car. And he said the cop looked at him, he's like, I fucked up, I know it, I should know better. But that's a small consolation to the cop who now has a shotgun and a Ruger in the street. He was pissed. I mean, it's not just he lost, $600 whatever many dollars of firearms. He just armed assholes. Yeah, and he wasn't very proud of that either. And it was a mistake, right? I go to those clay shoots as dog shit tired as I'll be, 100 degrees. We're out there shooting. I'm tired, dehydrated. The first two things I take besides me and my wallet is my shotgun and my case. And I'll make the effort. I won't take a bath until I've cleaned my truck, even if I just stick it in the garage. Then I'll go shower up, come back, and put all my stuff away. But at least it's locked in the garage for an hour or so. But yeah, guys, secure your stuff. Be careful with what you're doing. And especially in the cities, space is key. When you're driving, anyone who's driven CDL, you know, giving your vehicle space is key to maneuverability, to avoid accidents. It's the same thing for preparedness. Give yourself some room, both in your supplies, have enough food. If you have a disruption, you're going to get through a couple of weeks without blinking an eye. When you're to that point, you've done well. But also in the streets, give yourself that room to maneuver, to retreat, to engage if need be, to flee, whatever it is you got to do. Give yourself a little space, folks. Guys, I'm about to hit the range here, and actually no, I'm at the first house so I can meet the people, and then we will go to the range. So I'm gonna cut everybody loose, but thank you for joining me this morning. I wanted to do a live, and I was on the road in the wrong vehicle, so I had to buy a little mount and everything so I could talk to y'all. But guys, be safe. Keep doing the things you're doing. Watch the oh yeah, no, Lucky, a whole tactical thing. I've got a classic M4, and then I have an SBR in the back. And it's all long guns today. So it's East Coast folks who have never fired a long gun. I will send some pictures. This is 101 class. So what I'm doing, these are the most basic platforms I have. I want to acquaint them with the platforms, the optics, the handling. We're going to do a whole class in the house before I even bring them to the range with live rounds, just so they understand what they're holding. And again, I've made it my personal mission. So all my fellow Texans, Kentuckians, Arkansans, is that right? Arkansans, there you go. All of y'all, if you get blue state folks in and they're willing to learn, educate them. Educate them and teach them, because then there'll be less. If nothing else, they're going to think really hard. Do I want to vote for the guy I just got a new gun and I'm going to vote for a guy who's going to take it away? They're going to get the one eye about that. And by the way, here in Texas, we're going to have Beto versus Abbott. That's going to be a shit show. Anyway, I really wanted to see like Chad Prather and Tulsi or something like that. Some people I could say, all right, let's hear a debate. No, I got these two momos. I'm not super excited with Texas politics at the moment. But anyway, y'all be safe. Be careful out there. Watch yourselves on the road. Those of you in Texas, it is a really nice weekend. Go outside. Go play with the kids or the dogs, or go shoot something. Don't shoot your dog. Not good. Beto. His name is Francis. That dude is money privilege if I ever saw it. Because if any of us had a DUI and hurt someone, we'd be in jail for 10 years. But his daddy knew the judge. Bring, magically got out of jail. That's some bullshit. He can bite me. He's a pendejo, that one. Anyway, I mean, Abbott, I think Abbott's a little creepy at times, but no, I'll take him over Beto. I wish, like I said, I wanted to see someone different, like completely different, someone new. I want to see more political disruption. That'll make me much happier. But guys, you guys be safe and be careful out there. Have some fun. And yeah, oh, motorcycle going down the middle of the road. Come on, buddy. Be careful on the roads, and go have some fun. And the retail therapy thing, not a bad thing. Just stay in your budget a little bit. And if you get a little out of budget every now and then, it doesn't hurt. It's probably good for the soul. But anyway, guys, be good, be safe, and I will see you all later on.